Now, this guy was very popular and is still very popular, starting from the late 1970s to now, a few years after his death. So, we're going to get into him. Now, he has some of the fewest, I guess, let's say, he has the smallest range of facial expressions and gestures of nearly anybody we've analyzed so far, and probably most people. More than anything, he is concerned with people watching him. And so you'll find that he makes a lot of strong eye contact because when you want someone to watch you, you watch them. Our eyes are drawn to things that are also drawn to us. So, one of the few ways, and one of the most common ways that this person has to attract attention is by watching you and with his eyes inviting you to watch him. Also, with his um, chaotic sense of sensuality, sexuality, which cycles back and forth between masculine and feminine, usually in the same way, with his eyes and his eye contact being somewhat masculine, while everything else about his appearance being feminine. His hair, eyeshadow, blush, all that type of thing. His clothing, the way he walks. Um, so basically, what you're looking at right here is the only facial expression he has, which is "watch me." A lot of people think he's very interesting, and that his music is very interesting, um, and that he's a person of great integrity. They don't just admire him for what he's known for, which would be music, but they admire him socially, politically, financially, all kind of ways. They just all in all kind of worship this person. You'll find that his um, fans, his so-called fans, are more like worshipers, kind of like Beyonce's. I'm gonna try to keep this from getting too weird because I could get into a whole video about his occult practices and behaviors and things like that. But I'm just gonna analyze him and his facial expressions and gestures. All right. So let's move on to the next one. Now here, he's just a teenager. He's starting to want you to look at him, and a lot of times, what people do when they want you to look at him is they stick up their middle finger. Now, the middle finger is accepted as something that's just normal now, as hey, fuck you. But it really does mean that. I mean, it symbolizes sticking your finger in someone's vagina or anus or their mouth or something that can be have a finger inserted inside of it. It's a very strange gesture that people have just kind of accepted. And we'll probably do a video on this gesture right here. But teenagers like to do this because they've just discovered vulgarity and they've just kind of started to be allowed to express vulgarity, really. People stop correcting you for your vulgarity after a certain age. So this is the beginning. And some people just lose control. Prince is one of those people. Now, in a lot of these pictures, he's going complete feminine. It's almost like he regrets being masculine. Like this isn't a very intense eye contact like some of his other photos. This is more of a plaintive, uh, submissive, subdued type of eye contact. And not that men never have this. We get tired too. But with him it's always an act. And his music was particularly an act. Um, People often say this person was a virtuoso and like a great musician, and he wasn't. He was If you do anything the amount of time that he does it, he's done it, practice the same thing, you're going to get fairly good at it. He didn't have a wide range of creativity. He didn't play a wide range of figures or ideas on any instrument. He didn't sing in a particularly wide range of ways. He had a style like anyone else, and he did it. Now, this is the symbol that he made up at some point to represent the molding, the forming of a dual masculine, feminine, whatever else kind of entity that he wanted to be. But that's all we're going to say about that. Now, this is probably going to be a fairly short video because all that's really to be seen is that he wants you to look at him. And then this is him enjoying you looking at him. Now, you'll notice he does his hair in all these different ways. He was always talking about this racial allegiance, but you can see he's extremely racially ambiguous. He could probably pass for almost any race with the right primping, the right makeup, the right presentation. And he did at times. I think that was just, well, I know that was something just to get attention. He wants you to look at him. And this is what it looks like when he's accepting your admiration. He's opening his arms to you. If you want my love, look at me. Now he's curious. He's a curious little teenager, but also there's a mischief to it. You know, the afro is, once again, I've mentioned in other videos, is a special type of expression. Usually of youthful exuberance, of youthful energy, because this hair does attract a certain amount of electromagnetic power. But it also expresses an inner electromagnetic power. And he was a very powerful person, a very expressive person. But I think he was a bit, well, he was a bit confused about what to do with it. And so a lot of times in those cases, people end up using it to get attention. Never really quite pondering on it, what it means, what can be done with this energy. And here he's a bit vulnerable. Who knows what happened here that made him turn in a certain direction? Now, this is when he's everything at this point in his life, everything he's doing with a purpose. You can see that he has a very intense masculine look right here. Although he has eyeshadow on, although his face is smooth and his lips are pursed like a woman, and he has the same afro. Here he's just trying to fit in with the afro. This is the 70s. Now, this is a different time. He's like 50 years old. This is the year 2000. Past the year 2000. So everything he's doing has a purpose. The look, the hair, the dress, everything. And it's a bit of a hypnotic thing now. More than anything, he wants you to look at him, but he knows why he wants you to look at him now. He's very confident. Now here is where he's inviting that confidence. One way that someone can gain confidence that may not have it is through sex. When you want, especially with a feminine type of energy, and this is a feminine energy, he's got his legs open, his shirt open, his hair is subdued into some kind of straight curls, and his look is just very submissive. So one way that women or people with feminine energy like this, that use it like this, gain energy and gain confidence is by seducing people, seductress. Right? You want me. You like this. That's what he's thinking. And because you want him, he starts to feel powerful. He starts to feel like he's wanted. And the more people that want him, the more powerful he feels, until he feels like this. Isn't it interesting? Now, he's not interesting. This is the only look you're going to get from him. That one and this one. This one's a little softer. But generally, you get this intense stare from him. This is the type of person that will stare at you even after you've caught their eye and you've looked away. He might still be staring at you. Very strange person. Now, women are attracted to this person when they are not so confident, when they have low self-esteem, because he makes them feel like men admire women just for their looks, right? Um, Now, she is taking a masculine posture here, kind of like Johnny Depp in some of the photos he did with Amber Heard, because she feels like she has to compete with him. And because he has such a strong feminine energy, a strong seductive energy, she's given in. She said, I'll be a man. Now, she may be a man. I don't know. She may be a biological man. Who knows? But in this photo, she has the masculine energy out of the two. Is this interesting? I don't know. I don't think it is, but maybe you do. Who knows? Look at me. Look at me. I'm being naughty. He's wearing a blouse. Got his hair over his eyes. And people could say, this was the look of the 70s, the 80s. But, it just isn't. It's kind of like when people call the 70s the era of the hippies and all that stuff. And most people weren't like that even then. Most people were fairly normal. It's taken a long time to get us to the point now where people want to be like Prince and just want to be watched. Ironically, in his later years, I think he got sick of being watched. But at that point in time, he couldn't stop doing the gestures and all that stuff, but he was speaking out against certain things. Still misguided, but, he had learned. He had gotten the knowledge that he wanted. It just so happened to be too late to really make the impact that he wanted. He'd already made such a negative impact that it was too late. Now, the fashion industry finds androgyny to be stylish. So here, once again, even though they're wearing similar clothes, the women seem more masculine. Even though the man is out front, he's wearing the most feminine clothing. It's very hypnotizing, confusing. It's like a spiral because you don't know who's who and what's what. Um, and that's what he was about, confusion. Nothing is more attractive than a train wreck, than chaos. Now, was this person a musician? Yes. But the reason this person was famous for being a musician was not because of the music and how different it was or anything like that. It wasn't particularly different. If you listen to music from this era, it wasn't. It was this. It was the presentation, the hypnosis that made this person so famous. So-called freedom of expression. And when you want freedom of expression, someone has to take the freedom to the max, to the strangest, most fringe expression, which this quite isn't quite that, but it's getting there. It's getting there. You see this same look where it seems like there's a lot of life here. It seems like someone's controlling it, but it's just a lot of energy. A lot of light reflecting. The more you look at this person, the more you see how much control is being exerted by the need for attention. You see the pretentiousness of every gesture. You see the way he used women. I mean, people would say that he was an advocate for women, but I think trying to be a woman is the biggest insult a man can give to a woman. And there's people would say, oh, Prince was a man. He played basketball and all this stuff, and all of those people are all Hollywood people. All these little tough guys that say that, like Charlie Murphy or Dave Chappelle, so-called intellectuals that want to be inclusive or whatever they say. It's all a game. They want attention too. And you get more attention by latching on to others who have attention. When attention is currency, it's they say you gotta have money to get money. So you gotta have attention to get attention. So the more money you can get, the more money you can get. The more attention you can get, the more attention you can get. Right? I mean, look at that. How many chains? How many chains is enough? One hand up, one hand down. Crazy hair. Intense eye contact. One eye covered. There's this and there's that. The constant juxtaposition of one thing against another. Waving your hands back and forth. Jumping up and down. Wearing masculine and feminine clothes. Sometimes his music didn't have a bass. That was what Miles Davis said he really liked about his music. And Miles Davis was another person who just wanted attention. Yes, he had a great sound too, just like Prince did. He had an interesting sound to a certain degree. But more than that, he was good at getting attention. Miles Davis was a very hyper masculine person. And we'll get into him, but he got attention in some of the same ways. Wearing extravagant clothes, eye contact. I'm sorry, I keep pressing this volume button. But yeah. So there's not much more to say about this person. Um, Try to look at people clearly for what they are. Look at what they're doing. Look at what they're saying. Look at what they're expressing truly. Look at how they look at you. Like if a person really looked at you like this, would you feel welcome? How would you feel? It's a strange look, isn't it? What if a person's looking at you like this? Is this attractive? I don't know. You tell me. Get into my comment section and tell me what you think about what I'm saying. Peace.